Well, it's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and 9 a.m. in Sacramento, California. And this is news that you can use for Thursday, November 16th, with your host, me, Ray, and well, still not Zach, Justice. How are you today, Justice?
I am doing really well. It has been a very positive day today, and that's how I like to start off.
Well, it's only 9 o'clock. I mean, a
Yeah,
lot
well,
can happen.
I can have, but hey, that's 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., which is when I start work. Really sets up the rest of the day a lot of times,
Well, I'm,
and
I'm, I'm glad you're having a good
yeah,
start to your day.
it has been a great start.
Yes. And people are wondering why it is that we, particularly me, I suppose, is shocked by Toyota. How Toyota has once again shocked the auto and what's going on?
It's completely shocking that the company that does the best with hybrids, that basically perfected the hybrid,
Yes.
is announcing that their new Camry in 2025 will be all hybrid.
And that comes out next year.
Yep.
It, you know, I spent 43 years in retail automotive, and I have always loved the fact that the 2025 comes out in 2024.
Yeah.
Well, why should it 2025 if it's coming out in 20? But leave it to the marketers. I don't know. But yeah, I just, this to me says that Toyota's going to go slow when it comes to going full battery electric. And and their
Yeah.
customers seem to really prefer their hybrids. They're the most popular vehicles that they sell.
By far. And as I said, they kind of perfected the hybrid, right? Like of all the we all know hybrid, or maybe we don't all know. I know we know
Mhm.
hybrids have the most cause for fires, the
Yes.
highest fire risk.
Yes.
They have their most maintenance to them because you're running both systems. But Toyota's hybrids aren't the ones getting recalled. Everybody else's are.
Yes.
Toyota seems to be just cruising along, doing really well. They put all their time and money into figuring that out. And you know, I do think, and we've mentioned this on the EV show before, that I think that's what they're doing with the EVs. They're going to be late to the game, but when they come in, they're going to have figured it out, and they're just not going to rush it to meet some governmental goals.
Arbitrary deadline.
Yeah,
Yeah, they will be, when it comes to full electrification, they will be the MDX of full
yeah,
electrification, because the MDX, which is one of the best selling 7-passenger SUVs out there, was so late to the game. It was abysmal that Acura didn't have anything other than the rebadged Isuzu Trooper, the Slex, the SL, which was really just a sled. And but when that car came out, it was like sold like hotcakes. And I think
yeah.
the same will happen for Toyota. And my suspicion, and I said this to you before we went on the air, my suspicion is that they don't really want to go full battery electric until they have somehow finally developed a solid state battery.
I and that's clear. They have said so many times in over 20-year period now
Yes.
that that is what their focus and research has been, and they seem closer than ever now. I mean, they're certainly closer than they were 20 years ago, I guess.
Yes. Well,
But they seem closer than ever now at getting that, and that's sort of what their focus is. And I think that's really smart because that's been the holy grail of electric batteries for as long as there have been electric batteries out there. The solid
yes.
state is the way to go. So if that's their concentration and they're saying that's all we're going to focus on, then fine. You come late to the game, but you come out and you come out swinging, and you got your build quality that people are known for, and if there's anyone who's ever going to be a Tesla killer, I don't believe in Tesla killers, but
Yes.
if there's ever anyone who's going to be, it's going to be Toyota to
Well,
me.
yeah, they're the world's largest automotive manufacturer,
Yeah.
and it just, I think it speaks volumes that as the world's largest automotive manufacturer, they are moving more slowly towards full electrification than any other brand out there. And if you would think, as the largest manufacturer in the world for autos, that if the move was truly to complete battery electric vehicles, you would think they would have been on the forefront of it. But they've
Yeah.
never bought into it.
No,
Never.
they haven't, and their CEO got fired for that.
Well,
Because you still got to deal with shareholders, no matter who
yes,
you are, I guess.
yes,
But yeah, they haven't, and I think the methodical approach makes sense for them. That they've been around for a long time. They've shown that they know more than most people what they're doing,
yes,
and slow methodical approach is good. And look what happened when they did do something because the market told them they had to, which was, as
yeah,
we said here, the BZ4X is nothing
yes,
special. It is something special. It is literally one of the worst EVs out there. That's very special about it. But that's what happens when you do something you don't want to do, that you don't think you're ready to do, and you do it because the market forces tell you you have to. Um, and then you come out with something that does not fit the Toyota name.
yes. And I believe that the 2025 Camry, um, which will, all of them will, and they sell in excess of 250,000, or probably close to 300, almost 350,000 Camrys a year in this country. That
It was 242,571.
through the first three quarters,
Yeah.
so it'll be over 300,000,
Mm-hmm.
330,000, something like that. And next year, regardless of whether you get front wheel drive or all wheel drive, regardless of whether you get the entry level trim or the top trim, you ain't getting it without a hybrid.
Yep.
Which I think realistically makes their life easier production wise, because you just know every last one of them you're going to build is going to be with a hybrid. You don't have to, you don't have to take people who want a hybrid but don't have the time to wait for the damn hybrid to come in
Yeah.
and then try and convince them that, well, no, what you really want is just a straight 100% ICE vehicle, and try and convert them to that. At least this way, their customers that want a hybrid are going to be able to get their hybrid. They're not,
Yeah.
they're not going to be forced to make a choice because they just weren't making enough of them.
Yeah, and I like to point out too, the number two vehicle, the Honda Accord with 152,000. Like, it's not close.
No, and it
It,
hasn't been for
no, it
years.
hasn't. No,
Yeah,
the Camry was the best-selling sedan for 23 straight years. No, sorry, 23 years, but 22 of them they were. Where 1 year, someone else popped up for 1 year in 2003, I think it was. But that broke their only 23-year consecutive. The other 22 years they were.
yeah. I mean, it is. Let's face it. It is their second most popular vehicle behind
Mm-hmm.
the RAV4, and it seems to me, in my mind, because you've heard me say it, and anybody that's watched any of our videos or any of our shows, I think, especially in this country, maybe more so than in Europe, there needs to be a bridge that takes us from internal combustion engines to battery electric vehicles. And in my mind, that bridge has always been a hybrid. Okay. And so they've perfected it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not build the bridge? And they are.
And While I agree that that is the right direction for the American mindset and consumer, I
Yes.
disagree that that's what should be doing, because hybrids are technically the worst of both
Yeah,
worlds.
yes, I
But
know.
but that doesn't matter, because it's about marketplace dynamics and it's about mindset, and that needs to be a focus for people. If we want to make this transition, then it needs to be a transition, not from stop start.
Yes.
Like, that doesn't make any, like, there's no transition there. So hybrid does make sense, and more people, and I think possibly even plug-in hybrids, people get used to what that is like. Plug it into your home at night, what is that like? But you
Hmm.
still have sort of that backup ice engine, for your safety and your comfort while everything gets built out. That makes sense to me as far as consumer mindset goes. I
Yeah,
agree.
I think they've been the curmudgeon in the room when it comes to EVs. But I also think they're
Well,
right.
I mean, Honda. How many Honda EVs are there?
Well, yeah, but I think Honda's tried more
Yeah, well, yeah, I
and
know they
failed
were
more when it
they were
comes to.
trying to partner with everybody under the sun and keep pulling out on that. So we'll
Yeah,
see how they go too.
it's because they don't feel as if they're big enough to attack it on their own, because
Yeah,
it would consume too much of the money that they have, to make that switch all on their own. So yeah, they've tried to partner with others, and it hasn't always worked out. Uh,
no.
what what else is on our agenda of stuff for today?
Well, remember yesterday when we were talking about that these deals may with UAW from GM
Wait,
may not get ratified?
yeah, I think I need to say before we start, really, you got to be kidding me. Now,
That's right.
go for it.
Yeah. So, yesterday we were talking about, the passage, and it might be, 49.9 to
Yeah.
50.1, and these things may not pass, and we weren't sure where it was. Well, here we are, 24 hours later, and the UAW ratified the deal.
And it's not even close.
No.
55% to 45%. So yesterday, God bless him, we bought in to what automotive news and everybody else was selling. Oh my God, there's panic in
Yep.
the streets. The UAW contract might not get ratified. Seven facilities have voted it down. Oh, this is going to be a cliffhanger. Um, there was no cliffhanger.
No, no,
Yeah,
it just, and we talk about this all the time with the media, and they perpetuate drama and negativity all the time. And you know what? For I like to say, for our part, sometimes we get caught up in it too, because all we
absolutely.
can do is present the news that is out there. That's what we
Yeah,
do. We were presenting the news that's out there. So, what did it get a little bit overblown? It seems like it got a little bit overblown. And look, we just reported what the news was that was out there, and it seems like, okay, well, maybe
Auto,
that was a little.
automotive news uses clickbait headlines like we use
Yeah,
clickbait
yeah.
thumbnails. Um,
Well,
and
because it
and
works, right? Because it works.
bingo, and you you can't see anything on the internet where there's they're saying something and then it's dot dot dot, like, oh my God, what's the rest of
Yeah.
it? You got to click on it to find, and and that's that that's that's headlines in an electronic world. I mean, that's just what it is.
Okay, hold on. So I was thinking about this the other day, because we talk about our clickbait headlines all the time, and like,
Yes.
oh, the internet and social media have really ruined things. Let me see if this jogs your memory, because I had a
Okay.
memory from when I was a child.
Okay.
This common household item can kill you. Find out more at 10.
What was it?
Right. Right. That
Yeah.
was
No.
that was the
Absolutely.
news teasers
Yeah.
when I was a child, and
Yes.
he was like, okay, your house is at risk.
Yeah.
It could burn down tonight.
Yeah.
Find out more at 11.
Yeah. No.
Like what? So it has always been. Oh, I'm sure the first newspaper had some clickbait thing in it.
Well, yeah, headlines were designed in a newspaper to grab your attention so that you would see it and you go, "Oh my God, I got to read the rest." And the guy at the newsstand says, "Yep, for a nickel you can." And it's just that simple. And radio came along and did the same thing in radio. TV came along, they perfected it. More at 10, news at 10, and so the internet came along, and whatever homepage you have, whether it was AOL or whoever, they all had stories that have a headline, a grab to grab your attention, and something that you have to click on to get to the rest of the story. So,
so we're just practicing time honored media tradition. That's how you do it. You have to get people to read in. It's the prominent politician caught women wearing women's clothing.
Yes.
You buy it, you turn to page 2, it's Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, of course she was
wearing,
but
you bought it.
Yeah. And I wasn't bringing it up, to justify what we do or how Zach comes up with his stuff. I don't really care about that anymore at this point. But it was just like we fall prey to it, just like everybody else does.
Yep.
I mean, we were buying those headlines yesterday. We were concerned, and the 2 largest plants haven't voted yet.
Look, we had the spreadsheets of who voted and what numbers we were looking at. That's how, because we want to know. It's important. So, we click through, we want to know. And then turns out maybe not. I mean, I'm not saying the reporters were wrong or they were lying. Just not all votes were in. So we were presenting a half picture.
Yes. And the good news is that they ratified the GM contracts. They're well on their way to ratifying the Ford and Stellantis contracts. Yesterday, it was announced that at Mack Truck, they've ratified their contracts. So we'll be able to put all this aside.
Yep. 39 days is how long that strike lasted.
That strike lasted.
Everyone else should take a note of that. Because the Hollywood actors strike took how many weeks? And Mack Truck got it in 39 days.
Yeah, but the good news is we don't have to talk about any of this stuff again until 2028. I think July of 2028 is, and if I'm not mistaken, they set it up so that the contracts expire in July, so that if they have to go on strike, it won't be cold. It'll be hot as hell.
It'll be way too hot instead. Well, but because then there's those problems. I don't know if you remember this but in the actors strike, Universal, or was it Universal? No, it was Sony Pictures.
Yes.
Went out and cut down all the trees in front of their studio where people were picketing in the middle of the summer. So be careful about the time of year. Maybe choose spring or fall to go on your strike, because there are things that these people will do.
There are things that can befall you. Now, I understand from my son, and I think he tweeted it, that we have a dealer in the CarEdge trusted dealer network that sells Mazdas. And if you go through CarEdge, you have to go through CarEdge in order to get this. They'll be selling them through CarEdge at invoice.
Correct.
Every last one.
He even showed his text message here. They're running the Mazda store now, by the way. We need volume if you want to turn up the funnel. Zach says invoice pricing across the board. Said, yep, let's go ahead and do that. So we're ready. I mean, you have to come through the CarEdge portal to use us because
Yes.
these are pre-negotiated deals that we did.
Yes.
But yeah, no haggle, just straight invoice pricing. Come on in. All fees up front in network, so we'll deliver to you within 500 miles for free.
Yes. So for those of you who are looking for a Mazda at a very good deal, where you don't have to worry about negotiation. Oh my God, I'm not a good You don't have to be. We've taken care of all that for you. Good negotiator, bad negotiator, doesn't matter. Um,
Yep.
as long as you go through the CarEdge portal, uh, go through CarEdge search, hit trusted dealers, and they'll come up, and you go through us, we can get you those vehicles at invoice pricing. I've already seen in here, not below invoice. No, not below invoice. Invoice. Okay. And you know how hard you had to work, Mr. Customer, to get that at invoice? You didn't. We had to. We had to
Yeah.
develop the relationships. We had to go out there and wine and dine them. So yeah, we're taking all the hassle and haggles out of being able to buy a Mazda if you want one.
Yep. So just run through it real fast. We go to mycaredge.com/buy. We're going to go here. We select Mazda. We go to our trusted dealer here. Oop. My Mazda got cleared.
Well, stuff happens.
Trusted dealer here, and then you can find them here. And yeah, they are located. This dealer is located in Savannah, Georgia. I saw that question in there. So if you're within 500 miles, we can get it shipped to you.
And you can't go to the dealership directly because their sales staff is not trained to handle these
Correct.
deals. Okay, they're trained to act like salespeople, which is to sell the car for the most profit they can generate, because that's how they get paid. So it is not, you go to the dealership, you do that, you're not going to get the deal. You're not going to get it at invoice. It has to go through us. Just saying.
Yeah. So these are pre-negotiated through us. That's the deal. So we do it all, and we do it all. Zach goes ahead and sets up all the negotiations. It's not Zach and me and Phil out there. It's I think Phil might be involved, but certainly not me and the rest of the team. Those guys are doing the pre-negotiation to get those deals and make it all easy, so you don't have to go to the dealer, and you don't gotta have that stress and back and forth and all that.
So Jamie wants to know, what if you live over 500 miles away?
Then we will give you a credit for the first part of it, and then you'll pay the difference. So you'll still get discounted shipping rate.
Yes.
Even if you live over 500 miles, we can get it to you.
Yes. So it doesn't matter where you live in the contiguous 48 states, we can get it to you. Yeah. Obviously, the further away you live, the more expensive that portion of the process becomes, but we handle a credit for the first 500 miles of it. So
yes,
we're just here trying to make auto buyers' lives easier, and we're trying to do it a couple different ways. Those of you who like to be able to negotiate on your own, we have free guides, we have videos, we have our community forum. Those of you who would like to take advantage of consult calls so that you can actually chat with some of our car coaches to get insights as to how to do it, you can do that. Some of you who don't want to have to deal with any of that, you can use our concierge service. And if it's in network, it's a different price. It's just, we're here to make it easy.
Yeah. So in network in network is the only way we're discounting the shipping.
Yes.
But out of network, we can still help you. We can still get you. And can you fly and pick it up? Absolutely.
Yes.
Of course you can. You do not have to have it shipped.
Yes.
That is
You
not.
you just
That
have
is,
to do you just have to allow us to do the deal with the dealership
yeah,
for you.
yeah. You just got to go because there's. Sir, we're hooked in with the management at the dealership. The
Yes.
salespeople still have their job and they're doing their thing. So, and then Mel here asks, why is a used Mazda with 50,000 almost as expensive as a new Mazda?
Well, you'd have to
Yeah.
ask that dealer that's selling the used one, and oftentimes, people will pay. It used to amaze me when I was in the business, and we would price some of the used cars so close to what the new cars were, and I
Mm-hmm.
never understood why somebody would end up buying that used one. It was $1,000 less or $1,500 less than a brand new one, and it had 23,000 miles on it. Well, I don't know, for $1,000 or $1,500, I'd spend that extra money and get the brand new one. You know.
So it's and right now it's not just that; it's financing too, right?
Yes.
A lot of these OEMs have subvented financing. I saw, we had Hyundai has several models at 0%
Yeah.
financing right now. Ford has some, Nissan has some. We're getting a lot of those, and then they're used or priced 1,000, 2,000 below brand new. Like, hey, you know what? Just go brand new. We're still kind of in that market. The used market is falling. It is
Yeah.
most definitely falling, and we've seen some of it. But until it falls at a more reasonable level, right now, today, you're most of the time still better off going new, especially if you're financing on interest. I saw a interest rate for someone with an 800 credit score yesterday, used, and they got approved for 14.2% financing. It's
Wow.
like, okay, they're first off, there has to be something else in your
Yeah.
credit, but like when you're talking that, or you can go new for 0%, it's kind of a no brainer.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Oh no, Mr. Bill wants to know. Wait, I got to get my mouse to work. Um, that wasn't the
Well,
one
that's
that I.
Igor.
That was Igor. Asian
Yeah.
brands are still selling higher at auctions, and dealers pay more for them, so they sell it for higher prices. That makes sense. And then here's from Oh no, Mr. Bill. If more than 500 miles, will they allow the purchaser to meet the transporter at a mutually agreeable location within the? I don't know why we wouldn't. The difficulty is going to be actually coordinating the time
Mm.
when,
Yeah.
because once once a vehicle gets on a transport, once it gets on a trailer, um, we lose control. Okay, we and I watch that. We can complain to the
Hmm.
shipping company, and the person on the other end of the phone will take it and do their best to placate us, but they have no control either because one of their drivers has it, and so
Yeah. We.
coordinating the time and place could be difficult.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we just severed relationships with one of our shipping partners because they delivered the truck at midnight. And Zach was on the phone with him at 11:45 at night, going, "Where's this? Where is this vehicle? What is it?" So we went, and so to that point, we there isn't a lot of control in the shipping. We
yes,
certainly only want to try to partner with the best people, so
exactly.
that we can. And if issues like that happen, we're going to move on.
Yes.
But I'm with you, Ray. I don't see why not, but I can't. I don't know. That would definitely be a question for the concierge team to be able to
And they
answer.
would they would have to they would have to coordinate everything with the transport driver, and I can just tell you that to coordinate down to a day or an hour within a day or a 3 hour window within a particular day can be difficult. But perhaps we can figure out a way to work that out, so that could make sense for somebody. We're here to try and figure out. I'm going to share a quick story with you. Um, there's a gentleman, Derek Hall, who is the president of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Derek used to work for the Disney company before he worked for the Diamondbacks. And one of Derek's mantras is always try and figure out a way to be able to say yes to a customer. So, in that vein, we will always try to figure out a way to say yes, to try and accommodate whatever a customer's wish is. Doesn't mean we always can, because there's so many other people
Yeah.
involved that we have no control over. It's not our transport, it's not our driver. We ain't that big yet. Maybe someday it will be. Maybe we'll have our own fleet of trailers. I don't know. But until that time, we're at the mercy of all those that we deal with. But we will do our best to always try and figure out a way to be able to say yes if possible.
Yeah. And before we end, sometimes I forget. I don't know if you forget. That we always have new members on all the time, and not
Yes.
everybody has been with it. So I would like you to answer Dave here. Is invoice less than MSRP?
In most cases, it is, especially on ICE vehicles. In many of the domestic electric vehicles, in particular Ford, invoice and MSRP in many cases on Ford products are exactly the same.
Yeah.
But typically, invoice is the wholesale amount that the dealer pays for the vehicle, and MSRP is the retail amount that the manufacturer says the vehicle should sell for, even though they know it won't, and even though they know it really doesn't. Well, it has for the past 3 years, but typically it sells for below MSRP.
Yes.
So yes, invoice is less than MSRP, except for Ford electric vehicles per se. How about that?
Yes, most of the time. Yes,
Yes.
correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that. I sometimes I forget that not everyone has been watching since the old days, and
Yes.
we pop up and these questions, and it's like it's nice to get them and remind people.
Believe it or not, in a little less than a month, or right about a month, it'll be 4 years ago that we started this nonsense on YouTube. So, yeah,
Wow.
and we're still growing. So that means every day there's new people coming on board that have no idea what we said 4 years ago.
Yeah. Is that the chair behind you that you were sitting in those first videos, or is that
It
a
is.
different
It
chair?
is not. It is not. The chair that I was sitting in those videos was a chair that we had purchased for Dara at IKEA, and we moved that to Zach's house when Zach bought a house, and that first video we did, Zach had no idea how to do the lighting, and so there was a light behind the chair. It's pointing straight up, and it really looked like, I don't know, that I must have had some type of light source coming out of my butt. So, but I'd like to believe that the videos got a little better in quality over the last 4 years, and hopefully people are still getting some value out of what we do. So,
Yeah. I mean, look, I went back and watched them. They're still on YouTube. You can
I
find
know.
them. You can
I
go all the
know.
way back and watch Ray back in the old days.
Yes,
It's,
in my cardigan, my
that's right.
my
That's right.
gray cardigan. Yeah, absolutely. Which I still have, by the way. It just shows that certain things never get thrown out,
Yeah.
even when they don't fit anymore. Well, I think that's pretty much a wrap for today. We'll be back here tomorrow
Tomorrow. Yeah.
at noon Eastern, 9
Nice.
Pacific. And also tomorrow we have the Unplugged show on the Electric Channel
That's right.
at 12:45. So we have a busy day tomorrow. We have a really busy day tomorrow.
We do. And tomorrow on the Unplugged, we have Farzad coming on with us. So
Yes.
we will be talking Ray's favorite subject, Cybertruck. And the beauty and wonder that is the Cybertruck and how it's going to change the industry.
Yes, because the Cybertruck, as I have heard, is the Mona Lisa of trucks. Yes,
That's right.
certainly. Yes. Of course. Yes.
So Tune into the electric chauffeur to that tomorrow. We won't talk about Cybertruck here tomorrow. Don't worry. We'll be back with the news you can use tomorrow here.
Well, thank you everybody for being here today. Justice, thank you for not being Zach, and we'll do this again tomorrow. Thanks everybody.